I remember Justin Gaethje complaining about, man, it was like so much travel and like when I'm asleep, everybody's awake and there's noise and it's just like different. But anyway,
Hey dog, hey dog, hey dog. Let me pause you for 1 sec because I got some news.
oh snap, oh snap, what's going on? Breaking news,
I got some breaking news. Let me pause you for a second there, Playboy.
breaking
Cause
news, dun, 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 dun. Breaking news,
oh shit, oh
What's happening?
breaking
shit!
news,
Look who just
breaking
dropped in
news
for a hot
out of
minute.
nowhere.
What?
Do we
What's
got
good?
any
What's good?
the horns? Meow, 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 meow.
That's right. I'm going to go into post production and
Man,
do the
you looking spiffy. He's looking all
Not,
rested
studious.
no,
death
I was
man.
editing a YouTube video at a coffee shop, so got to
Dude,
put
your
something on.
background looks crazy.
Oh, it's
That's
my new apartment.
nice. I need to come
My new
through, man.
apartment.
Nice man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Rocking around with a collared shirt and everything there.
Shit.
No, I was just in the coffee shop
Damn.
editing, bro.
He's
We just got to get
he
out the crib.
Oh hell yeah.
he just do something
Yeah,
on, just do whatever on to go to the coffee real
What
quick.
this?
Just
Nah,
whatever.
little
nah, nah.
something
If I had
light.
to guess, his shoes were probably matching.
Oh, you better
No, I just got
bet.
Tim's on. I got Tim's on. I got
Oh,
Tim's
okay,
on.
okay, 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 okay.
That'll match anyway. We were
Yeah,
just talk. We were just okay. Go ahead, Joe. You gonna say something?
yeah, we were just talking about and we can have Russ. We'll transfer perfect timing actually because we're gonna go right into you.
Well,
But we're
let me
You.
ask. If we could cut into Russ, we could double back on Crane, but let's talk about Russ then. If he's here, let me fire a couple questions.
okay,
I'll get
okay,
your guys' take on both of them. But I'm gonna throw some questions at you
okay. Go ahead,
fellas,
go ahead.
because there's so much fucking going on for God's sake. So first off, um, Russ, how was your impression of Worlds, the return? We talked about it a little bit, but you've had some time
Oh,
to reflect.
no, I mean it was a unique experience. I mean, for number one, to start off, like obviously, it didn't go the way that I wanted to go, but this time around, I actually stayed past my session, so I was able to watch the 93s, 105s, uh, and then the 120s, and the I think I missed out on the super heavies, but it was exciting to watch, man. Just like watching the competitors compete. And I feel like the environment too was crazy. So it was a very unique experience. And I've just kind of had some time to kind of reflect and figure out what I need to go going forward. But it was cool.
What's your motivation difference coming into Worlds and coming into Sheffield compared to
It's
me? Like,
yeah, it's not even close. I mean, I talked about it in the post meet show that we did, like I think the day after, and I mean, I was motivated to come into Worlds just because there was an opportunity to do something that hasn't been done in my weight class, and I wasn't able to get that accomplished. But coming into it, I wasn't I mean, the conversation I was having with Joey was more so like, yo, let's get through this. And then we have like the rest of the year to prepare. But now just kind of like with the result that I had, now it's like the motivation is through the roof. I mean, the day after I finished competing and I felt, the feelings that I had, the day after I was like, let's go to the gym, let's work out, let's train, let's kind of get back on the horse. But yeah, no, it's night and day, bro. Like getting ready for Sheffield now, it's just kind of like all my focus is on that, and every single thing that I do is building up to that point.
and what do you is the way the community has responded to all of this?
Mm-hmm.
The rematch being set, everything. Is it
Mm-hmm.
surprising to you? Not just like not the day of, but I mean since how people are talking. Like some are saying Russ is coming back, some are saying Russ is cooked, and it's like people just like sports fans. This
Yeah,
it's everyone's recency bias, right? Like the big
yeah.
sports. I know you follow the big sports, but are you like, oh,
Uh,
shit? I'm like those guys in those other sports now. Like this is happening to me right now. Like what's going on?
yeah, man, it's a lot of mixed feelings. So number one, I think I'm very self aware and I can kind of step back. And bro, we talked about it so many times on the podcast. I said the day that I lose, bro, it's gonna be really bad. Like I
You
know,
said that.
yeah, I know a lot of people just kind of like it's almost. I don't think it's to the level of Floyd Mayweather, but it's definitely just like where people kind of tune in and see whether or not like it's going to be the day where I lose. I don't know. So I understood that if that ever happened, that this is going to be the ramifications of that. So I wasn't really shocked. I just I think I was more so shocked that it happened. You know what I'm saying? So seeing how the fallout's been, I think obviously you're gonna have your different camps. Like people are gonna be like, yeah, like Russ gonna come back, and you have people that are like, nah, he's done. It's a new age now, X, Y, and Z. But honestly, like just kind of thinking about it, like you said, like damn, like I now kind of understand what it's like to be an athlete, to where like people have their camps and they're talking shit, or like they're
Mm.
saying that you washed, and you just don't have to be able to balance that a little bit, because you don't want to feed too much into it. You don't want to like have rabbit ears and be hearing everything people say, because it's going to throw you off your game. And I think that understanding what the temperature is, like understanding that, people are excited to see you lose. People are excited to see this become a trend. But then also just being confident within myself, knowing that like, if I just keep putting in my work, I know that, I'm going to get back to my true form. And, it's just it's part of growing the sport, because now we've gotten to a point where now people do have their camps and they're excited, they're talking shit, and but they're also excited to see me come back. So yeah, it's just been one of those things now where I'm actually just kind of happy that we've gotten to that point in sports where like I feel like, or that point in powerlifting where there is excitement around things of this nature. Like I don't know if this would have been as prevalent back in like when I first started competing, like no one really gave a fuck that much. But now it's kind of become a
Enough.
thing where, yeah, it's a constant news cycle. So I'm thankful for that.
And how do you see yourself in terms of like, okay, so you're very brand aware, you're branding, right? And you've
Mm-hmm.
had moments like, for instance, the early days when you were battling Brett was one thing, and you were like the underdog. Brett came before you, won titles before you, and when you beat him, it was huge. Whatever, you assume control, and then you
Mm-hmm.
win for so long, and for a minute, you had a bit of a villain arc because, and this is going to happen no matter what. If you win too long, no matter what you do, people are gonna be like, I'm getting enough of this guy winning. And no matter what you
Yeah.
say, it becomes like it happens in I watched the fight game, but like whether it's Ali to Mike
No, we
Tyson
did.
to whatever, it becomes, can anybody beat me? Nobody can
Yeah.
beat me. You guys can't beat it. It will just inevitably become, I've won every
Uh-huh.
single year. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna win again. And then the villain arc peaked um with Petrie bombing out and whatever. That was classic. That blew up. Not to rehash that, but that was the villain arc peak. But
Yeah.
then, but we've seen like the branding go full through, right? And you've embraced all roles. But now there's a new opportunity,
Mhm.
because now it's like WWE sheds, like after 3 years or so, they say you got to rebrand. And some guys like the Undertaker was a guy who came from the dead, and by 3 years later, he's a fucking biker. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's the Undertaker. Like
Uh-huh.
they're like, it gets stale. Don't be the same
Mm.
guy forever. It gets stale. And in terms of just natural progression as an athlete, this happens naturally, but also impact from the community makes you feel certain ways and respond certain ways, and rivals and whatever. Now, for the first time in a long time, you're a challenger. People are questioning you, and people who rally behind you hear people talking shit who've been waiting and are going to double down. And it becomes, I don't know. Do you feel like there's a new arc here, a new storyline here, a new opportunity here? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, like so to comment on like the community and what people are saying, like I'm thankful that I kind of don't really give a fuck. Like not like in a rude way that I just dislike people. But I think me and Joe have been talking about this like off and on. Like I just don't really care what people say about me, positive or negative. I'm thankful for the positive comments, and I'm actually thankful for the negative comments too. But I don't let it sway what I do on a day to day basis. Like I don't let it shake my confidence. I don't let it shake how I approach. Um, I found this. I found being still is the best thing that I've gotten from this. Like, if I see something, I honestly don't really see much, but if I kind of feel the community, feel the energy that's coming, and it's like negative, I kind of sit in a middle ground, take that negative energy and apply it to something positive for myself. So maybe I don't feel like training one day, but then I just think about all the people that are kind of like ready to dance whenever I lose. Okay, I'm gonna use that to my positive advantage. And then same thing too, like whenever maybe I don't feel like training, I know people are kind of counting and rooting on me or rooting for me to bounce back. So once again, I take that and apply it for myself. But I don't know. I just don't. Sorry, what was the first initial question that you asked?
Well,
Like,
you explained that well. First off, I threw a couple questions
yeah,
at you, so it's you
yeah.
answered
No,
them
so
like
I
really
wanted
well.
okay, yeah, because I wanted to
Yeah,
bounce on
but
that, but
even in your progression of story arc, where you come
oh
up as the
yeah,
young athlete chasing,
yeah.
and first you're chasing and how you felt then,
Mm-hmm.
and like you're also like a 30-year-old man now. Things are different, and then things got you know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah,
different in life.
no,
It's true.
for sure.
It you're a
Yeah,
mature athlete, and now you might feel differently, and every life impacts you differently, and
yeah,
you've gone through stages like most athletes in other sports I know you follow. If you saw them first few years in, you see them at top, and you see if they lose a championship and are coming back, and like you
100%.
see changes.
Yeah, so I think like one of the things that me and Joey talk about a lot is because like the way that we like to kind of like relate things to sports. Like I'm a big sports culture guy. I love football, basketball, all the UFC, obviously boxing, all that kind of stuff. So I look at like what we're going through to a certain extent. Like I have parallels with maybe like you look at a Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, right? Like they win three championships, right? And they became the villains because they were always so successful. And then after that, they lost to the Giants. They had that crazy loss where David Tyree caught the ball in his helmet, and it was a crazy upset because they were 17-0, trying to go 18-0, right? And then after that, I think they lost another Super Bowl in a row. I think they lost two Super Bowls in that time frame. And then Tom Brady went a long time without winning, right? I'm not saying that's going to happen right now, but I'm just once again drawing parallels. And then when he won again, when he came back on the Falcons and they were down 28-3, I mean, all of a sudden now he's like the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. And people want to see you, people want to build you up to a certain extent. And then they want to break you down when you fall. And then if you're able to, as an athlete, come back and win again, it's almost like you reach this different stratosphere of like they've seen you like come up, fall when you're at the top, and then come back up again to get back to the top. And I think that people end up having some type of respect, whether you dislike or like the individual. So, like I said, like you said, we've been through a lot of different arcs. I came in 2017, kind of like out of nowhere a little bit. I was kind of like beloved from 2017 to I want to say like 2019 when I was able to break through and win my first world championship. And then from that point, it just kind of slowly built up to where it's like, all right, this guy is getting kind of fucking annoying. You guys getting kind of fucking annoying. So, whenever that happened a couple months ago, I think that's kind of setting myself up for a unique opportunity come not even just January. I mean, just next year, me being still has allowed me to have a lot of perspective. Like for me, it's never a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So like even if things don't go my way to begin the year, I'm still gonna have the same confidence. I'm like, no, I'm still gonna get this shit right. Like at some point, it's gonna happen. So I like I said, I don't really falter too much, and I'm just confident in this new story arc where it's like it really does feel like the old me again, where I'm just lifting weights, I'm making videos, I'm having fucking fun. Every single time I go into the gym, I'm motivated. Like if anything, Joey has to worry about me overshooting because I'm just so fucking ready to prove myself to myself. And yeah, man, I'm like you said, it's a lot of different arcs, and I'm ready to brace this one.
Real quick before you go, Ryan, I just wanted to touch on a couple things. The first thing is when Russ was talking about, not having rabbit ears, and Dana White said that on a podcast. He said, if you come into the arena and that motherfucking place is booing the shit out of you, everybody's just going crazy booing you, I fucking love that shit, and I'm gonna book you every fucking time I can, right? If you come in there and everybody loves you, obviously that's great too. If you come in that arena and no one gives a fuck, that's a problem. That's a big fucking problem.
That's
So
a
I think
problem.
so, I think either way, it's you invoke some sort of emotion from people. I think everybody has something to say about Russ, and I think at the end of the day, tying into what we touched on with Taylor earlier and what Russ has an opportunity to do. And Russ said something when he was talking right now that I didn't actually realize is, from my mind, it's like, okay, we lost that one. Now we want to get it right back. Like with Keiko, when we lost that one, I wasn't there. And I was like, really, I'm fucking fixing this, right? We got it back right away. But with Tom, it wasn't that easy to just like get it right away. But so eventually when he did, and I said this about Taylor, if Taylor, it's almost like every championship, the pot, the lottery, that little like that golden lottery, whatever, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Regardless of who gets it, it's growing each time. But because like Russ and Taylor have all those chips before, when they get it back, it's almost like they just get right back on track. They literally just get. It's like they bet. It's like they bet double or nothing, right? You lose, you go into this kind of, okay, let me get my shit right, let me fix it, and then when you win, it's like, all right, now I'm literally right back on track. Like you kind of, I mean, to me, it sounds cool when you win. Let's say you win two, you lose one, then you win again. That's dope. Versus like you just win four. If you just win four and you blow them out, it's almost like it's more interesting when you lose one and get it
Yeah,
back.
it's like it makes you. I mean, like shit, Ryan. We talked about it right off the platform. You're like, bro, this is an opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
you look at. I mean, you look at GS G
ESP.
damn
GSP.
GSP. Yeah, GSP. He lost that one. Forgot the guy he lost to, but he came back and had a war and beat him. Right. So there's just so many different elements at play here where like I said, it's a beautiful opportunity to kind of just like challenge yourself and see like what you actually made of. It's like, all right, cool, bro. You was chilling for the last couple of years. Now you got smoked for real. So like, what's up? Like, what type of champion are you? And like Joey said as well too, like it doesn't have to be right back. I want it to be right back, and I'm working hard to make it right back. But I'm also not going to lose confidence if something doesn't go my way. I mean, I've talked about it many times on the podcast before. Like, winning is not easy. I know that I create a lot of content, talking my shit, but it's not easy. I've always said that it's not easy. And I'm always thankful when I do win because there's a lot of different elements that need to go right in order for you to win. So yeah, it's shit. Tom had like 10 years before he won again after he lost, I think
What?
two or
Was it 10
three. Yeah.
years?
It was a whole decade where he didn't even get to the Super Bowl, bro. And then when he got back, it was against the Falcons, I believe, that first one, or the Seahawks. I forgot which one, and he was
The
down.
2006 one was the fucking craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. So like
That
whenever he
was
lost, I
crazy.
guess the Giants, he didn't come back for another 10 years. I mean, then Kobe lost against the Celtics, came right back, won with the Lakers. Jordan retired, came back, had like a year and a half, and then he came back and then won another three. So, like I said, it's just an opportunity, man. And I think a lot of people they want me to feel down, uh, or just like I don't know what people expect because like I was getting a lot of messages when I lost. You know, they're just kind of they're like people like actually checking off on me, which I'm extremely thankful for. But I'm like, hey, bro, don't worry about me. I'm good. Like I cried. So whenever I lost initially, I cried like a baby, in the back room. But that was me flushing out all the emotions in that moment. Because I'm like, let me get rid of this right now, so I could go forward and keep my head clear for whenever I get back home when I start training again. Like I got the video saved in my phone to remind me of that moment. Like, hey, bro, this is what happened when you bullshit, and this is how it feels. Like you want that shit again. So
I
I got
have
it
a
saved on my phone on my favorites.
I have a video from some friends of ours that were in the crowd that have that
Yeah.
moment, and I'm like, okay, okay.
No. I'm talking about the back room, dog. I'm talking about the back
Oh,
room
the
where,
yeah, yeah.
Well,
What's
yeah.
that
here's
one?
sorry, go ahead,
What,
Joey.
no, I was just gonna say, it was it was interesting, right? But when I look at it in retrospect, I'm just like, I'm not saying you could have seen it coming, but it was like we hadn't been on the IPF stage for that's like 2 years, I think. 2 years, no IPF stage. We didn't compete in this weight class. We did nationals, but that was our first time coming back down to 83. In Korea, we went, obviously that was like a fun meet, right? It wasn't like a super serious, super lock-in meet. Um, and we had a long period of time where Rust could accumulate competing at that level. And there's literally a comment after Russ's nationals, this year nationals, that I made where I made a comment about his performance, like, 860 is like a little under where I wanted him to be. And like, well, I literally was already thinking about Worlds as like, we'll take Worlds as an opportunity to get some practice, competing internationally. But realistically, in that time, we weren't coming into it like if you look at the numbers Russ was hitting coming into nationals, we're blasting his best total ever, right? Because we just did nationals and then we just had to do Worlds. I think we kind of took it as like we'll get some reps internationally, but it's just a stepping stone to the next thing. And I'm very thankful that the total that we put up was good enough to secure us, Sheffield. I was just talking to Russ about this yesterday or the day before. Jurens did what he was supposed to do. When I look at all the film on him and all the things that he has done in the past, he hadn't done anything aside from a couple recent training sessions that would lead us to believe that he was going to show up as on point as he was. I still personally would have loved to have seen that meet had Russ gotten the squat. I want to see Russ get that squat, and I want to see Jurens get that pull, like whatever that number needed to be. That would have been it would have been it would have been fucking like, all right, like A55, A52, A50, whatever. It's not enough. We gotta, it would have been interesting. I think he could have been good for it, but because we saw what happened with Emil. Emil was looking like he was just gonna run away with the shit, and then he drops like easy third, just drops it. So, in a way, this happening was like the God saying, "Hey man, like wake up, guys. You're not gonna be here forever." And I do think that moving up to 93 opens up a whole new plethora of possibilities and capabilities, and just kind of like if Russ is like a character in a video game, like if you guys ever played Diablo, you get to that level 50 and then it unlocks the new tree, like all those new abilities unlock that you could go through and like get all these like different things. I actually sometimes think to myself, fuck, should we have moved up sooner, right? Should we have just moved up after Korea? But I think we still have work to do here at 83. I don't think it would be right if we didn't do what we needed to do at 83. On the flip side, Russ has done a fucking lot, right? He's done a lot at this level, but I still, now if I think for his health, there's like a problem, and like we're squeezing everything out of his body at this weight and he's like breaking. I don't want to do that. I want to give him some reprieve, take some stress off the body, move up. But I think we have an opportunity to hit the meet that I know he can hit at Sheffield. And then, I mean, we have a weird schedule when it comes to like nationals and worlds. And obviously we have world games, which is going to be like I feel like the world games is going to be more like it might be like a culmination. I mean, Russ, you could tell me, I know we haven't done a world games before, but it'll be like, this whole journey that we've been on, all these years together, everything that we've been through, traveling all over the world. And then we close off that 83 chapter in China on that crazy stage, going through something like that. And that'll be like I couldn't think of a proper send off, to just kind of end it on that note and say, all right, that chapter, like we finished that arc. Let's try the 93s now. It's going to be fun. There's no pressure. My man can eat, fuck, like we're playing with house money now. You know what I mean? That's going to be fun as shit. But
well, what do you think, Russ? Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't want to say nothing officially, so we'll see
Okay,
how.
okay.
Yeah, we'll see how life plays out. You never know.
That's fair.
I mean, if we hit a crazy number and there's like more in the tank, I'm gonna be like, well, shit, we gotta stay now. So,
it is fair that it's also fair that like you want to be satisfied. And to your point earlier, Russ, if it's not, if you'll hit your goals, you don't know when. So you don't want to put a freaking date and people are like, well, you said. It's like, hang on. I know I got goals. I don't know exactly when I'm gonna hit them. I need to be satisfied with what I've done. And So you'll know when the time comes, but you don't know until you hit it. And you're like, okay, I'm good. Now we're all
Mhm.
good. In terms of a couple of things you said earlier, then I'll ask, we'll move forward again, or if you got some more, Joey, because you had some points you had to jump in. But I remember being at after the World Championships, Leah and Penna, that's my boy and my girl, and they were talking. We're all in a circle of people and talking about like both of them didn't win the world title, right? Both of them were world championships and lost their titles as well. And they said, um, Penna was like Penna's an emotional guy. He's like fucking exemplifies passion. And
Mhm.
he said like afterwards he was crying. And Lee goes, "You cried after you lost?" And Penna goes, "You didn't?" And it was like, oh shit, that
Bro,
was actually
I
a
felt the way.
that
Yeah.
was like actually but Penna worded it like, you should have. You didn't want it that bad.
Yeah.
He's like, I for really real thought this is mine, like a
Mhm.
birthright. It's mine. I believed 100%. So when it doesn't happen, yeah, like for him, it's like, of course. But Penna is the guy who's in, and he's not fucking around. It's not
Yeah.
an act. So you see him afterwards. Yes, he'll cry when he wins. He cries when he loses. He's all in, all the chips in the middle. This is what it is.
Mhm.
And to your point, it's like, look what happens at the moment. I'm digesting what happens. If you talk to me 3 weeks later, please don't think that it's like I can move forward with my life. It's just in the moment. I got to digest the moment in its day to day. And by the time
Yeah.
you roll up on me 3 weeks later in a DM, we're all sorted, we're all good. But when I go in, I go in. So if you catch me 20 minutes after something just happened, I'm all in and I'm digesting the new reality that just hits and we'll be fine. But, this is what it looks like when people go all in. And some people, Russ, Joey, never in their life go all in like you guys go all in.
Yeah.
They'll never know what that feels like.
Reminds me of the Izzy quote when he says, "Earth, I hope that one day you know what it feels like to have this moment." Um, when talking about Pana, after that meet, obviously Jonathan Garcia was there as well. Um, I had the opportunity to talk to him. We are working together, and he was very upset after that meet
I see it.
because you saw what happened. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he had like more in the tank on squat and bench, and he was like, "I don't want to feel that again." And then he dropped the deadlift. But so those guys that I mean that to start the week with those guys like that, I mean,
Yeah, that was
fuck,
kind of crazy.
like
I feel
that.
like too, like whenever you put like, I don't, when you reach this level, man, it's no like we could be cordial after, but it's not buddy buddy, man. Like you're out here trying to take something that I want, and we're all trying to do the same thing to each other. And there is no like good luck, man. Like I mean, not for me personally. It's like nah, fuck that. Like we could do that after, but like right now, like we have to go to battle. Like I know people like don't like those terms or saying stuff like that, but bro, it sucks losing. Like you put a lot into the sport, man. Like you manipulate your life to powerlift, right? So when things don't go your way, you're gonna be fucking mad. Like I flew from America to Lithuania. I ate a certain type of way. I trained a certain type of way. Um, I spent hours in the gym breaking my body. Like, of course, I want to fucking win. Of course, I'm gonna cry whenever it doesn't happen. Like, of course, uh, I'm gonna hurt. Like losing. Like, I flew my dad out to watch that meet, bro. Like, that was my dad's
Yeah,
first
yeah.
time seeing me compete in person. So it's like, that shit sucks and it hurts. But um, I think it's important to understand that people do care about this shit, dog. Like, I know, like for a lot of people, it's a hobby. But when you get to this certain point and this level of competing, like it's very serious to us.
It's
So
never been more serious. It's actually
yeah,
never,
That's a
literally
fact.
never been more serious.
That's a
I don't
yeah,
fact.
think, bro. I don't think people see it as a hobby anymore. You see how many
no, I
hundred
don't.
thousand coaches are out there.
I think yeah, I think people are slowly moving out of that like buddy buddy like hobby mentality. It's more so like no, this is I eat. It's what's that term? Like I eat doing this, dog. Like,
You see that post I just put in my story? It was the two guys that were like, they're like saying nice things to each other in an extremely aggressive way. And I said, when you're
oh
in the
yeah,
same
yeah.
weight class and you wish the other guy good luck, it's like, hey man, good luck, man. I hope you have a great meet. Yeah. I hope you go 9 for 9. Yeah. But
Yeah, man.
obviously, at the end of the day, like, bro, there's just too much on the line. Like, literally, we're talking about like Sheffield attempts is like, oh, you just lost 10K on that miss. Hell, you had helms on, Ryan. You had helms
Yeah.
on after the first Sheffield. I think it was the first Sheffield. And Helms was breaking down like Gavin's attempts, and he was like, hey, this is what he said, not me. He said that by taking these attempts, it costs you like this much money. And whenever in powerlifting has like, bro, I'll put it on me. Jesus's third pull. How much of that? That's probably the most expensive deadlift miss in the history of deadlift. It's like $40,000, bro. We 4x
Expensive deadlift.
what Gavin missed on the squat. So it's like, bro, we got the title for the most money, missed on a pull. So it's I don't think it's ever been more serious. And um I think those lifters understand now like everything that's at stake. And I'm so thankful. I am so thankful that by the end of it, Russ was able to get that wild card and lock that in. And now we have like I don't think you couldn't write it. Can you write it better? Can you write it better? The emotion
Perfect.
after Russ's meet. I was just sitting there thinking to myself, those UK lifters, because there was a lot of UK like fans there, they were so like they couldn't believe what had just happened. It was like an unfathomable thing that could have possibly that happened. And I thought about it, and it was like everything that like this is like Russ. Like this is his. I don't know if there was another person at that meet that could have like lost, where the other side would have been like, this can't be real. Like there's no way that this is happening. And to see them,
I mean, Amanda for sure. Amanda,
that that
Amanda,
that would
Inside.
be
Yeah,
yeah,
Amanda for
that would
sure.
be
yeah,
On the
Amanda and
men's side, for
Jesus
sure,
were,
it had to
yeah.
be.
yeah.
It was one of those things where it was crazy because last year with Cali, we chipped obviously like Taylor missed some lifts and we were able to pull for the win. That was insane. And now this year, I got to feel what it feels like. We missed a
It's
lift,
karma.
covered a deadlift. It happens, but no, but that's sports. I mean, I have so many. I still left. I still got mine. You know what I mean? Like we still handle business, but at the same time, it's like I didn't think it would be. I didn't think it would be my 83. My star running back is gonna get taken out like that. Like what the fuck? You know what I mean? So it's
On
like,
the but honestly, okay, we were talking earlier about like people. If talking about character arcs, the whole nine, let me throw to freaking Muhammad Ali, who's the most beloved athlete of last century. In his it, there was a point when he was the most hated man in the world, at least
Muhammad Ali.
America. Muhammad Ali winning too goddamn long, outspoken, the whole nine. And if you're winning 5 years in a row, no one wants to hear, I don't know, let's see how it goes. No, you got to stay with your chest out, like, come and get some, blah, blah, blah. It's just the way things naturally progress. And when he comes back after he lost his title, he lost, came back and won it, and also had taken away, came back and won it. But to the point of coming back and winning, it sets it all up, and it's an amazing setup. If you're an athlete in Russ's position. Now, let me ask you guys this. I had Jurgens on, and I asked them straight up. Jurgens, you were the current world champion. You just won the last showdown. You're going to be in Sheffield, which is your backyard, home food, no time zone change, no travel. Jurgens, are you not now the favorite? And Jurgens said, I am not.
I
Yeah.
think they can't. I think they still can't believe it.
No, no,
It's not that. Russ, what do you think?
no. So we had that conversation actually. Yeah, he reached out to me. I forgot exactly what. I don't know what we were talking. I don't know what he said. I can't remember exactly. But I told him, I was like, "Hey, bro, like I'm the underdog. You're the champion. Like you're the one that won. I lost. I'm the challenger now. So I'm coming back uh into your, like you said, you put it out perfectly, into your turf, to your home field. So it's like, bro, it's in your backyard. You don't have to really do like, not that he has to do, he still has to train and all that kind of stuff, but I mean it's lined up perfectly for him. So it's almost like in the UFC, like when you lose your belt, you got to go to that motherfucker's hometown, fight him in where he lives at, and he gets all the benefits of that. So I'm the underdog. I didn't perform. I didn't show up. He totaled better than me last year or this year. So it's like the way I look at it, it's like I'm the person that has something to prove. I have to come in there and take care of business if I want to. I'm not even taking my belt back, but just like get my lick back, if that makes sense. So I said, you're the champion, bro. Like you're the person with the C next to their name, and I'm the person with the one or the two next to my
Yeah.
name, and I'm coming back in. So that's the way I'm looking at it. It's not like it's a bad thing to say like you're a challenger. Like I mean that's sports. You won that time, so you're the king. You're the king on the top of the hill, and now I'm the underdog that has to climb that hill again, and then take care of business.
You
So
remember? Well, I'll answer that, Ryan. I think if we break that down, I think Jurin's. I think if Jurin says that, it's easier for him to handle the situation when he sees it as I'm the challenger. I'm going against, the juggernaut, whatever. Maybe there are benefits to looking at it any which way. Like for fighters, they got to believe that they're the biggest, baddest, scariest man in the room. I think, in my opinion, uh, underdog. I think there are a lot of things stacked against Russ that we have to overcome. Like obviously we got to go over there. Da 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 da. I've done this twice already. I know how Sheffield is. We're gonna have everything that we need. Obviously those are factors, but Russell's really good about getting his sleep. And unlike all the other meets, 100%, unlike Worlds, because Russ got there and we had to do the meet. Like he literally got there. We're like, all right, shit, we got to do the meet now. Um, at Sheffield,
right, man.
yeah, with Delaney, I could go to the store with him. I could be like, okay, these are all the foods that we're gonna eat during the week. You can have breakfast with me on this day, because you can eat normal foods, da da da. And like I could be more hands-on with it. So that is gonna be playing to our benefit in that regard. Is Russ an underdog or not? I think the correct thing that I should say is whatever is gonna put Russ in the right mindset to allow him to operate on a level that the world has never seen before. And I think in order to do that, I'm going to say you are the underdog. You have to prove yourself now. You need to come in there. You need to handle business. You need to cross your T's and dot your I's. After we get off this call, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you're gonna do for deadlifts tomorrow, and
I
that
was gonna
that
say,
and that is how we're
yeah.
and that is how we're gonna operate. That is how we're gonna operate. Nothing else matters. I don't give a fuck about nothing else. I don't care if you have to shoot content. I don't care. Da 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 da. You are going into that meet. We are gonna handle business, and we are gonna be disciplined, and we are gonna prove to not only ourselves but to whoever, that to those judges, that you were the strongest lifter. You were the strongest lifter on that day. We lift to standard and we handle business. And that's the way that it needs to be, because in all the bells and whistles and accolades and all the crazy shit that we've done over the years, um you know we gotta prove that we can lock in when we're supposed to and handle business. And just to add more to it, if we want a chance at another world title, we have to ball out at that meet. We have to, because I don't think Russ wants to do another meet in like fucking 8 weeks. I don't want him to do a meet in 8 weeks. We got to go crazy at Sheffield. We got to put a stamp in it so big that says, you know, hey man, like good luck beating that. Now, obviously, nationals and international meet, it's like you can't even, bro. Our American nationals and like any IPF meet, it is. I don't feel pressure when the lights are coming on for a lift at nationals. I don't really have pressure. At worlds, I'm like, what's that second set of judges gonna think? That whole other set of judges over there, what are they? You know what I mean? It's just
Basically it's okay to be the under.
yeah,
I don't see anything wrong. I'm very black and white. Like, did I win or lose? I lost. Okay, I'm the underdog. Like, I mean, you
It's
know.
actually like so. Here's the interesting point out. I want to get back to what you're saying, Joey, in a minute, but we could wrap this up though because it's interesting. I read tons of autobiographies about fighters and boxers, MMA guys too, and some dudes operate better. Now you've done both, but some dudes operate better as underdogs.
yeah,
There's no pressure on you,
yeah.
and you go in there, and other guys in fighting when you win the title in your first defense, you sometimes get it in your hometown if the town's like a big town, right? Like Georges St. Pierre
Mhm.
defended in Montreal, and far more pressure to defend your world title in Montreal or wherever your
Because
hometown
everybody's
is.
watching.
All
Yeah,
these fighters, it's far more. All your friends and family, everybody's there, and all your fans. It hits different, and you're the favorite because you're the world champion now. And this is what boxers and MMA guys have said. Not always, but they have said that. And at other times, when you're the underdog, it's like you handle all the pressure. You got everything. It's in your hometown. It's bingo bango. So
Mhm.
this is an entirely unique set of circumstances. It's been a hot minute since you were the challenger slash underdog on the way up.
Mhm.
And Jurens has never felt this before because not only has he not been the world champion, but my God, there's only very few world champions who have been at, to Joey's point earlier, been this big in powerlifting. Powerlifting's at a new pinnacle. So
Mhm.
now it's like, Jurens, you pulled off a massive upset and everyone went crazy about it. This is the encore performance. It's massive. He was the talk
Mhm.
of the town. That performance was, and there's an encore performance, and it's in your backyard, and you're reigning world champ. It's going to be entirely different for Jurens.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the culture, or just like the dynamic between competing as an underdog and then as a champion, because there's a lot of pressure that comes with. It's weird because for me, there's a lot of pressure that comes with both. But yeah, there is a lot of pressure that comes with being a champion and defending your title because there's nothing to gain,
keep talking.
really. Like, for the most part, you have everything to lose. If you lose, like, you're done, if that makes sense, right? So like when you win, it's kind of what was expected of you. Versus like when you're underdog, people are already kind of expecting that you're going to lose, or like you have already lost before, so there's a lot less going into it. But like whenever you're sitting there and you're like, nah, like I'm the champion. Uh, Everyone here is like expecting for me to win X, Y, and Z. You know, it's kind of weird because you might start feeling yourself a little bit. Maybe like, you have a training session the next day. You may go to bed a little bit later on. Like even now, I'm looking at the time. I keep looking at the clock because it's like 8:55. I need to make dinner and go to sleep so I have a really good training session tomorrow. Because I mean, I'm not trying to have any bad. I'm trying to limit the amount of bad training sessions that I have because I am the underdog. So I understand that like um, I have nothing to not that I don't have anything to lose, but like it's just like everything that I do now leads up to the point of like where I get to, show myself again. So I don't know. It's a weird feeling kind of having all that kind of taken off my shoulders a little bit. But I still have a lot mentally to myself on my shoulders. But like to the outside world, it's kind of people are already saying I'm washed. So I mean, I ain't really got much
Like
to lose there.
you framed it perfectly. That's what I think I was trying to hit as well. When
Mm-hmm.
you're the champ, you can lose the title number one spot. When you're the guy underneath, I'm the contender. If I lose, I'm still a contender. Like I'm
Yeah.
coming in here, I don't have it. I have nothing to lose, everything to gain. You're the champ. You're already the champ. You have everything to lose, nothing to gain. If you got sick and didn't compete, you're still the world champ. You're still the
Yeah.
champ. You're still the man. You show up, you might lose. And that's
Yeah.
probably what you're describing is you only can lose.
I mean, when you think about it, like when you're hungry, you're ready to do whatever the fuck you need to do to get that plate, right? So when you're fed, it's not a little bit takes a little bit longer to get up and get that plate because you're like, I already ate. So for me now, it's like, they say walk them down, just keep walking them down. Like I see what I want right now, and it's like everything I do is building up to that point where I'm able to actually reach out and grab it. So it's a very weird and unique thing to feel right now, especially over the last like 6 to 7 years. Not really, I guess, like being in a position to feel that. But now it's just like, all right, cool. Like I get to like literally, I literally sit and dream about training. Everything I eat is like, yo, I'm like my body weight's down at this point, which is so odd for me because I'm usually close, like I'm a little bit higher in body weight, but now everything is just pretty
Nope.
locked in. I'm just walking them down.
It is. Yeah, it's a different season that you got to enjoy and embrace because yeah, this is different, man. Well, you've been on the way up before, but you weren't the champ and then
Mm-hmm.
lost it now coming back. And it's going to
Yeah.
be totally different for Jarrett. And he's going to look at people find their way, but it's just everything is so different for you guys. I like
Yeah.
want to hear like it. He
Yeah.
doesn't put
On
out
both, yeah, on both ends, because it's like, I'm coming, I'm building up, and he's like trying to fend me off now. So, it's gonna be a unique position for him too. He was talking to me about. I remember we were at the meet and we were watching, I forgot which session we were watching together, but uh, he's like, how do you deal with this shit, man? People keep trying to talk to me and hitting me up and all these messages, da da da. And I was like, shit, learn that, like, shit, learn how to do it, man. Because I mean, it's gonna be that way for the next whoever knows how long, right? So it's like, you have to, it's a different thing to learn how to deal with that type of like, I guess, like expectation, versus like no one gave a fuck before because like you weren't winning. You're just kind of lifting. So now it's like, nah, you're everyone's favorite right now, bro. You gotta, that's a different type of like pressure you gotta deal with. Sponsors are coming in now, money's coming in from this now. So it all looks different, right? So it looks gonna look different for him and it looks different for me now. So
Speaking of, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Bro, Usman, when he defended the title like 7 times. Fucking 7 times, right? The one time he lost, he said that sponsors literally dropped him.
I mean, that's how it
That is
works.
that is I mean, he's like, I'm not the champion. And it's
It's
just
cutthroat.
the like I talked about Ryan, I told you earlier, I said some of my people don't I said not my people. I said some lifters don't like it. Some girls don't like it for sure. Some of my girls they don't like it.
What are you talking about?
Like they don't like the pressure of
Oh, pressure. Yeah.
I've done this I've been at this level for so long. The pressure really gets to them. Like it can really like mess with them. Um and the one thing that's very interesting from my perspective is I work with all different types of lifters. I have people that won a title and didn't win a title after that yet. um like Callie, for example, he won one, didn't win the year after. It wasn't even at Worlds. And then I have guys who just like don't lose, right? With like Amanda and Jesus that like just keep winning. And then we have like guys like Keiko and Russ that win, might lose one. Keiko gets it back. Russ about to get his back, right? And like I see all the different mindsets and all the different like everybody's different. Everybody's different. And then I have some lifters that are like machines. I don't know how they do it. They're robots. They don't they don't feel that anything. They're just like okay, let's take Agata for
Have to
example.
feel something. That can't be true. They have to feel something.
I mean, they're let's say Agata's not my lifter for the people, right? But Agata was born competing at World. She was like forged in the fire, right? She was
That's fair.
so young at these international meets, and she just like I mean, I've been in the warm up room with her around like multiple times, and she's not scared of anything. She's not afraid of anything. She's like such a big target, but she's like, I'm literally her, like I'm gonna handle business. She doesn't have, fear of anything like that. You see when she goes out there at Sheffield, she's getting the crowd involved. She's like, come on, guys, get loud. She's like kind of funny. She has like that kind of awkwardness to her. And she's just so confident in her execution. She's so confident in what she's gonna do. And that's I think is very important to try to derive confidence from your training. It's like I said earlier before Russ came on, it's almost like in bodybuilding where if you got shredded and you handled business before you got to the show, you're going to be confident on show day. If you did not do those things, then you're going to be like, oh, what's going to happen? So it's about instilling that confidence in yourself. You know what's crazy? I think Russ demonstrated the most confidence I've ever seen from him, probably the meet where I was the most concerned. It was when you were, it was at that one, it was at that one nationals. It was at that one nationals where we were coming off of
Oh
like an
yeah,
injury.
yeah.
We had to really like do some fancy stuff with
Well,
training.
nah, because like it was, he kept asking me, "Are you good? Are you good?" I'm like, "Bro, we are here right now." Like I remember like, no, I wasn't yelling, but I was like, "Bro, look at me. Do I look ready? Why you keep asking me if I'm ready? I'm ready, dog. I do this." And I went out there and
Bro, we
spotted
are
it, but
here
But
right
I meant
now.
like in a
yeah, it's like
sense.
There's no more sessions left.
he's like he
We
was just
better
asking
be
like,
good.
yeah, he's like, "Are you okay? Are you?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm fine. We're
Well, I'm
here.
not
Like,
gonna
let's
call a
go."
weight. I'm not gonna call a weight that he's not gonna be able to lift because he's hurt, right?
That's fair.
So that's
That's
why
fair. That's fair.
he was so confident, and that's why I'm just trying to see like what kind of a Russ am I gonna get today. But
Well,
he
I'll just
ended up
say like once you get to me day, bro, it's kind of, I mean, shit. Either you might as well
caution
comp
to
it
the
whatever
wind. Fuck
package,
it.
yeah, whatever. But I'm gonna. Is there any other questions? I just wanted to pop it real
No,
quick.
we're good.
I gotta
We're
eat
good,
dinner and
King. Thank you for
get ready
dipping
to
in.
train. Yeah,
Very
Thank
good.
you
we
for
gotta catch
dipping
up
in, man.
sometime for sure. Y'all
Yeah,
be easy,
we'll
man.
talk again.
I'll hit you
Make
for
some
dead
chicken and
definitely.
noodles. All right, bet.
All right,
All right,
brother.
bro.
See ya.
All
Later.
right, gang. Nice seeing y'all.
Okay, Joey. Where were we
Okay.
at, Playboy? That was
We
a
were
nice
talking
little
about.
intermission.
Let's wrap that up and then we'll just finish Kernan. We're talking about um Krenan's. We're on Krenan's deadlift, but yeah, I think I honestly with everything that we talked about with Russ, I think we're good. We could just probably move right back into it, but I think his storyline is set up in a way where it's interesting thinking about when he said if I don't get it back in the early in the year and I do get, like it kind of takes pressure away from him to have to do it right away. But regardless of when he does it, I think the further and deeper we go into this era, a world championship is just going to be worth like so much because it's so deep, right? As far as I understand it, there's another 83 that's really good coming out of the UK,
On
and
a second, yeah.
yeah, Jurgens might have to go against him. So
There's
we could
always
see a
somebody
lot.
else. There's always someone new eventually at some point.
Yes, and it's happening so quickly now. Now going back real quick to Crandon's deadlift.
One sec, one sec. Let
Yeah.
me just say, because I think I'm going to clip this as its own episode, so it's not quite disjointed. So I'm going
Okay.
to pull out the Russ. So we'll stay on Russ for 1 sec here.
Mhm.
Let me ask you: is there something you guys are doing differently in prep for Sheffield that you
Yes.
weren't doing going into Worlds?
I have that. I actually have that here on my notes that I was going to talk
My
about.
man. Okay.
So I'll just kind of speak from my perspective. Going into that meet, there was an aspect of Russ's training, um, that was kind of like we just competed, we emptied the tank. So we can't go as hard as we did going into nationals, right? So some things are almost like coasting, trying to maintain, right? As opposed to trying to drive for more. Obviously, the gear is going to shift now to driving for more because we have more time. We also are playing. We had to like recalibrate some things with bench. I mean, I could talk about it because he already posted it. We changed his bench technique a little bit. He's like sinking a little bit more now. It has been uh, a huge boon to his bench, and that has been a pain point. So that's going to come up. He's obviously, you guys have seen him in the heels. The reason why we did that was not for depth, but since we're already here, his estimated 1 rep max in them is like it was like 760 or something because he did 310 for 5, I believe. But we got to clean some things up. I don't know if I'm going to keep him in the heels, but for now, seems to be doing fine. And then deadlift, we've just been retooling that, and we just talk like we used to talk as opposed to like kind of coasting on certain things when it was like like for nationals, I didn't have to be as hands-on. I could worry about like Crandon, who it's our first meet, right? But I think this has caused everything to be kind of taken down. You just tear it all apart, and then you start looking at everything that you did. You go, okay, this is going to stay the same because this was working really well. When we had these other 3 world meets or 2 world meets, whatever, we did really well with this internationally, and competing on this day, we saw that this pattern worked really, really well. We take the positives from everything, and you come up with this like super prep that's sort of everything combined into, a product that is better than anything that you've kind of done in the past. And I think Russ has the strength. He has the strength. So I think it's just a matter of, if Russ cannot miss a third squat, he can't because he's so undeniable, right? And if his bench is better, he's going to be extremely hard to beat. Obviously, we're going to improve everything, but that guy that is perfect execution and doesn't have bench as a weakness anymore is going to be super, super hard to beat him. But yes, it has caused myself and him and me talking with, like my brother and some of the other flex coaches, just really making sure that everything that we're doing, everything that he does in his life is going to gear him towards that performance. And we just got to pray for good health, hope that everything works out. But yes, both mentally, there's been a shift. In training, there's been a shift. Nutrition, there's absolutely been a shift. His
Can
body
I ask
weight
you
is
about
lower
that?
now. His body weight
Yeah,
is
yeah.
lower now than it's ever been. It's not really a cut. It's a cut, but it's not really a cut. Before we were doing big, big, big cuts. We're cutting from like 200 pounds, and we'll get kind of like 195, 193, and then cut from there. He's not doing that anymore. So now we just need to make those numbers real at the low body weight and make sure the standard is undeniable. And then on meet day, it'll be, there's nothing to worry about because you're so well prepared. I do think there were aspects of worlds, like, unfortunately, like the plan that we set out to do was actually like pretty accurate. It's just, the whole thing with the travel, getting there at the last minute, the flight getting canceled, going all the way to the airport saying you don't have a flight today, and then having to go back home and then go back to the airport. It's just like the stress of all of that, not eating the correct foods on the plane, not packing foods. Like it was just a lot, but that's all been taken. That's all going to be different. Um, it has to be, I'm treating this meet like this is everything. And whether it is or not, it's good to just have that little sense of urgency and that fire under you. And for those of you that have faith in Russ and myself, I want like that faith is faith that I take it carefully. I take it as I'm not gonna let you guys down. I know I'm not gonna let you guys down. So like I said, it's just we've been doing this a really long time. We thought we were gonna coast. Jaren showed up on point. Now, if Delaney was doing that meet, maybe the entire mindset would have been different, right? Maybe Russell's whole mindset is different. Maybe when you think dude, it's just like think subconsciously. When you think you have leeway, you just do things different. You just do things different, right? Um, whether somebody thinks it or not, like they're like, oh, I'm doing the same things. Little things here and there, you might take it easy on, but for the most part, yeah, I'm just excited to compete. I just want to, like, part of me going to like junior worlds is because not only because I want to help my juniors, but I just want to be in that environment even more so, right? I've done like so many world meets. I'm gonna open this gate while I talk.
Yeah, sure.
I've done so many world meets. I've done, everything that there is to do. Um, I mean, nothing is harder than handling 6 people. I mean, obviously I have my helpers with me, but having 6 people at Sheffield at the same time, um, that is incredibly stressful. And it is definitely impossible. I have a dog here. It's definitely impossible without delegation. Um, but I still need to be present for like certain things. And at this meet, we are like, so in the prior Sheffields, if the lifter wanted like a loved one in the back, sometimes we're like, okay, they'll take like an extra spot, and we let them do that. This time it's all business. I don't care about none of that. I'm sorry. Like we have to win. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you what you want. You're gonna leave this meet and you're gonna be happy. So everything, just the entire mindset, everything's been refined. Just no stone unturned. We just can't do it anymore. We can't do it anymore. We have to, like I said, man, if next year truly is Russ's last year as an 83, I got to make sure that he does what he leaves happy. He goes, okay, I'm very content with what I did. I'm ready to move up. Let's start a new adventure and see how it goes. Um, I hope that answers your question.
Let me do one follow up real quick.
Yeah.
You said his body weight on check. Um, whereabouts is his body weight? And do you want to keep Russ small for a long duration? Could that impact his lifts? Or do you think heavier body weight and a cut isn't a bad thing if it's not over? There's like, you don't want to over adjust.
He's not too small. So as long as if you're cutting like sub 3%, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. That'll be very easy. So we want to be sub 3%. I think under 190 is great. Could probably push that to like 191, but I just don't want him to, like in nationals prep, he pulled 350 and then we only hit 340 on the platform. I don't want that. I want to make sure that we can hit, was it 350? Yeah, it was 350. I want to make sure that if he hits a weight in the gym and if he's 189 when he hits it, I could count on that. But if he hits a weight in the gym and he's 200 pounds, I got to kind of take some off the top there and say, we're going to have to cut down on that and you're not going to be as strong. So it's, I'm just treating this like, did they announce the Sheffield pot? Because I was going to say I'm treating it like it's like a job and you're going to get paid. Because there are financial repercussions to not being on point at this meet. And that hurts. And I think about how stuff like that can help lifters. There will come a time, and when winning Sheffield, and I already know that it's at this level in some countries. If you win Sheffield, that is probably more than you were going to make in the entire year. In some countries, I 100% know that. I 100% know that. So that is a huge incentive for these. Like powerlifting is a very accessible sport, right? So countries where they can lift, maybe that's a goal of theirs. Maybe that's going to get more people to kind of shoot for that prize. So I don't know. It's I take Sheffield very seriously. People say it's like, oh, it's a Super Bowl, it's an exhibition. I don't feel that. I do not feel that. I know you feel it as like a very serious thing.
Well, for sure.
Sheffield is like a very prestigious like thing to achieve. It's like a very big goal to win that meet. I can't even believe that, like, bro, Jesus won the first one. Keiko hit the podium twice and got second
Let me ask
twice.
you something.
People need to remember that.
Okay, before we get back to the fellas, let me ask you one more thing. How do you, because you were there for SBD rally, the emergence of
Yes.
Joey B,
Yes.
Joe Bornstein. What's your impression of the kid? 21 years old, 865. My goodness, he's got the world in front of him. He's a lot younger than both Jurens and Russ.
Mhm.
What's your impression of this young man?
My impression as a person, I think we like a lot of the same things. He's a cool kid. He's like easy to talk to. We're both very like I feel like our minds are going like racing a lot, and he's like very similar in that regard. Um, he's a smart kid. I see a lot of he has a lot of the traits that you need to have in order to operate at a high level. Um, Now as a lifter, one thing that I've talked about with some of the boys is we need to figure out like he's young, but is his training age young? Um, like is A80 like I mean I think by April A80 is gonna be whatever, right? It should be easy for him, right? I mean it's only 15 keys more than what he hit. We're in August. If he is the prodigy, then I think A80 by April is like probably fine. To assume that he would do that at nationals. At Worlds, maybe there's like variables or international stuff, and he does like a little bit less than that. I don't know. This is just like a prediction. Maybe he does 890. Maybe he does 900. We don't know yet. But I think we need to see how he does. Like for him to like check all the boxes, right? And do I believe he could do these things? I mean, I think he can. I think powerlifting is getting to the point where it's going to come down to execution, right? It's going to come down to lot number. Everybody's going to go 9 for 9. Everybody's going to have good lifts, but your lot number is going to screw you over because you're going to have to lift before somebody else, even though you have the same strength. That's literally how freaking close it's going to be. And then we could talk about changing lot numbers. But anyway, powerlifting has never had that problem before. But anyway, I think we just need to test him internationally. His durability is going to be tested because he's going to be tested at nationals. He's going to be tested at worlds. If he makes it to Sheffield, he's going to be tested there as well. There's a 17-year-old kid that's probably ahead of where he was at 17 years old. Is that kid going to come up at 21 and be where he's at? Like there's so many. Actually, the kid, I believe his name's Jack. Shout out to Jack and his coach, David Wilson. I think he said that he at 17 in the gym, he hasn't done it in Malta yet. So next week we'll find out. He has hit higher than what John Hack hit as a junior.
Oh,
A
shit.
17-year-old kid. Yes, I know. Putting it that way, it's like crazy when you think about it. So we have to see, like, it's so interesting, right? Because
17,
Joe,
he's a sub junior.
yeah, so like Joe's here, right? But now there's this other kid. And like obviously Joe's way ahead of them. But like where's that kid gonna be in 4 years? Like it's everything is evolving. Now, I know we're talking about Joe, but I think Joe is an example of 21-year-old kid coming in and he he beat Delaney, the world champion from last year. I'm not gonna make excuses, but I will say that Delaney like would have rather have just kept prepping for Sheffield as opposed to having to do Raleigh. But yeah, I mean, again, the mindset is different when you've been doing this for a while. If you're 21 years old, you're super durable, nothing hurts. You want to compete like 1,000 times a year, and you want to like smash everything. When you're 30 years old and you already have multiple world championships, you want to kind of pace it out. You want to have your space. You don't feel like you don't need to run as fast, right? You can slow it down a little bit. But actually, the way that it really is the older you get, you got to run harder because there's like kids coming up out of nowhere. So it's like in the NFL, you have a guy who's like the veteran, and they're taking on some new kid who the organization is basically telling you, yeah, man, like this guy's gonna take your spot soon. You know what I mean? That's how football works. So in powerlifting, it's you just gotta fight for everything. Everybody's fighting for their job. Everybody's fighting for their job. So it's super
And
cutthroat right now. I think Joe's a good kid, and I think he's great. I think he just has to be tested like longevity wise and on the international stage.
in a lot of ways, like Germans, ironically, is a great inspiration with all these kids coming up.
He's
And
older.
Germans, 35 years old, grown ass man, 2 kids, underdog until now, and may still be an underdog, depending who you ask. Phenomenal, just like his story's phenomenal, man. And everyone knows how like Jurgens has been in the pocket at the world stage. He was there when Russ versus Brett 2018. He was
I
there,
didn't even
dude.
know that. I
I
didn't even
know.
know that.
He
I didn't
was
even see him.
he's been around the block. He's paid his dues, and he's a phenomenal story himself about perseverance, never giving up hope, and late stage being able to make massive leaps. He's made. I remember when he won Euros with 800 kilos. Big deal for him. They hit 800 kilos. Now he did 852 and a half at Silent Worker. You know,
It makes
it's
me
phenomenal.
wonder if all those years he was just like super fatigued or something. Like, I don't know.
Well, he was learning a lot himself, and he said, I mean, honestly, I asked him, you know, would you change anything if you went back? And the thing
Probably said
is,
no.
well, you learn so much. I mean, I know it's cliche to say, well, I mean, you learn, but it's true. And also, the impact of what he achieved wouldn't have been the same if he had won previously or whatever. Like the storyline would be completely rewritten. You
Yeah.
can't. You know, it is what it is. But there's others, not just him, but Meg Scanlon, mid 30s, mother, you know, whatever. Like there's others who are in their mid
It,
30s peaking.
yeah, we could. I don't know if you want to transition back to. I
Let's
just want
do
to
it.
cap
Let's
off
go back.
Crennan and Alba, but